Welcome back to On Points. Ed DeRosa alongside James Scully. And James, before we get to 3 points races this weekend, wanted to recap last weekend's action with the Smarty Jones Stakes and Gray Attempt. Let him gate to wire.
Yeah, great attempt to seize the initiative right at the start. In his previous race, the Sugar Bowl at 6 furlongs at Fairgrounds, he outsprinted a lot of speed in that race to clear lead, and it played out exact same way. Sean Bridgmohan really took him in hand, and it was a short lead until the stretch. Long range Toddy and Boldor both made a run at him, but he determinedly held on. One thing about that race was at the mile they have that short stretch at Oaklawn Park, so you have to wonder if that played a part, if he would have been able to hold on at a longer distance. But definitely the first race of his 3-year-old season turned out right.
Yeah, great ride by Sean right out of the gate. Outside post could have been a disadvantage, but he got position and, as you said, had enough to hold on. As we take a look at our top 10 list now going into this weekend, no Gray Attempt for me. Leaning on what you said, have a hard time seeing this one really doing much beyond a mile and a 16th for sure. We'll see what happens in the Southwest, but I did put Long Range Toddy on my list, won the Springboard Mile, and was getting to this one in Oaklawn all weekend. I thought was a spot where you wanted to be on or near the lead. Long Range Toddy was really the only one who threatened on the inside, so interested to see what he does for Steve Asmussen. But I did put Hidden Scroll, whose debut was magnificent, trying to break that Justify curse and be the first horse to win the Derby that didn't race it too since Justify.
Yeah, and I put Hidden Scroll fourth on my list. Yeah, and
you're a believer.
I'm a believer. Well, the thing about it is, and Scott and I talked about this last week, is once you get past, I think the top three. I mean, for sure, the two Baffert horses, Improbable and Game Winner, and even Maximus Mischief, who we'll get to with the Holy Bull.
Right.
It's just pretty much wide open.
Yeah.
And I looked at Hidden Scroll, whereby it's a wet track, it was a front running win, it was a 1-turn mile. He still has a lot to prove, but there's no doubt that he has talent in my eyes. That race came back really fast. He got a big speed number from us.
Yep.
And, so I'm of the belief that, hey, I'm going to take a positive view of the colt right now until proven otherwise.
Yeah, no, huge number. For me, the big thing will definitely be the next start. I've seen some stats about really this being the fastest 3-year-old race outside of a stake since Upstart. And he took a big step backward even when winning his second career start. So that to me is a big key with Hidden Scroll. If he can maintain form like Justify did, stepping into stakes, then we got something. But if he steps back, even in victory, say, I'm going to have a hard time backing him going forward.
Yeah, and I think Upstart wound up running last in the Kentucky Derby. So, but the thing with Hidden Scroll is that he's by hard spun. He has all this stamina in his female family. 1.5 mile, winners in that female line. It might be on turf, but there's to me he's got that pedigree that is really intriguing. And like I said, the quality was there on Saturday.
For sure. Exciting prospect, no doubt. Look forward to see where he shows up for Mott. And we have some action at Gulfstream this weekend along with the Withers and Lewis, but we will start with the Holy Bull Stakes at Gulfstream. And for me, one of the more exciting horses on the trail to date, Remsen winner, looking to break, for me, what is a Remsen curse, Maximus Mischief. And I love the brilliance, and I think he moves forward again here.
Yeah, and it's really easy to appreciate his juvenile form because he ran fast in all 3 races.
Exactly,
Ed. A 94 Brist speed rating, a 104 Brist speed rating, and a 106 Brist speed rating for that Remsen Stakes win. I thought that was a really sharp effort. I don't think he necessarily has to be on the lead, even though he's led wire to wire last time. I think he could sit up close. But yeah, I just think he's a threat to overpower them, especially at the mile 16th trip.
Yeah, I think maybe with the somewhat outside post 8 going a mile and a 16th, he may end up on the lead under Jose Ortiz, but agree doesn't need it. Garter and Tie, a horse I picked last out in the Mucho Macho Man Stakes, had some trouble early. Big thing with him is he is on the rail, and the Brisnet PP say that's the place to be going a mile and a 16th at Gulfstream.
Yeah, I mean it's and especially with the wet weather and the forecast, it'll be interesting to see how that track plays if we have any defections out of there. I'll mention Mijos. I liked his race in the Mucho Macho Man. He's by Cairo Prince. There's some stamina in that female family. He's an off the pace type, or just off the pace.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'll be able to win on Saturday, but he's the type that if he's finishing strong, I'll look at him favorably going forward.
All right, the negative I'll point out is he had a big pace advantage based on the Brisnet PP's first and second call. And you mentioned the rain, Garter and Tie Sire, 4% in the mud.
Yeah,
so that would definitely be a downgrade. We'll head up north on I-95 to Aqueduct for the Withers Stakes. Another race, 10 points to the winner. And I am on the favorite in the Holy Bull, but the next two we'll talk about, I'm against the chalk.
Yeah, I'm against the chalk in that race too. Lucky Lee looks like he's going to be the pretty solid favorite. I think Moretti is going to take some money for Pletcher off that convincing maiden win at Aqueduct. But I like Tax, Ed. And I thought that, he ran his first race for a tag at Churchill, ran a good third in there. He came back and they claimed him for $50,000 from a convincing win. He's by Arch, a gelding. Shipped him to New York, ran in that Remsen. And one thing that the run lines won't show you in the PPs is that he really made a good run at Maximus Mischief between calls in that race. Now, Maximus Mischief turned him back, but I thought he continued to finish well to the wire. He was 6.5 lengths clear of fourth, and that fourth placer was Bourbon Country, who came back from Mark Henning and won an allowance race at Gulfstream a couple weeks ago. It looks like a pretty nice 3-year-old. So I think that field was pretty solid. I really like that effort by Tax, and I think he's going to improve upon it.
I know someone who's cheering for Tax.
Who?
Al Stahl.
Al Stahl?
You know why?
Did he train him before?
No, Ben Colebrook did for Claiborne.
Oh,
but
okay.
I would say if Tax is on the Kentucky Derby trail, that Al might be able to get some horses back if they lost one. Yeah. You did mention Lucky Lee, who is in my top 10. But yeah, as the favorite here, I got to play against Mountain in 8th first time, and probably will be overbet. So
who's your pick in there?
I'm with you. I like Tax.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Al Stahl definitely, and you. The Lewis Stakes at Santa Anita, and another one I'm against the favorite. Gunmetal Gray just has not excited me.
Yeah, I mean, Gunmetal Gray, I mean, the speed completely fell apart in that sham. He's kind of type that, to me, doesn't have to win any preps going forward. He could theoretically, if be a late running horse to consider, come the Triple Crown Series, if he continues to run well but doesn't win. But I just don't see this race setting up well for him. I think Mucho Gusto is going to take a lot of money for Baffert, off that runner-up effort in Los Alfuturity to Improbable. But I like Nolo Contesto. I really liked that maiden win last time. That was his second start. He was stretching out to 2 turns for Sadler and Aronis Racing. And that horse he beat, Omaha Beach, is a nice horse of Mandela's, who really I thought ran a good race that day to be second. It took a big, strong effort to run him down and win that day. I think he has a big upside. And in this race where, there's not a lot of quality per se on paper, I like his potential, and I'm going to tab him for the win.
Yeah, and another one where I think rain has to play a role. Watch how the track plays. Maybe forwardly placed with moisture, which helps Mucho Gusto. On the other hand, Mucho Macho Man, for the slop. So small sample size, but I always take the 0 much at a higher degree than I do any other number. So I'm with you. Nolo Contesto on top. Gunmetal Gray, just impossible to back.
Yeah, impossible to back.
On the win end.
On the win end, right. I mean, to me, he needs to run second or third,
To move on.
To move on.
Yeah, no question. All right, well, exciting 3 races. I will be in Vegas next week for the NHC, but we have the Sam F. Davis. I believe our other coworker will also be out, so we're going to try to wrap these up on Monday. How's that sound?
That sounds good, Ed.
All right.